everybody, this is dkdynamite for a very spicy video here for you guys tonight. We're going to be talking about DLC 4 for Cold War Zombies, Eddie being confirmed as a director, and some other exciting updates. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, and let me know in the comments, have you guys ever had any issues over an Outbreak where it just doesn't let you play on a certain region? So earlier today, I had enough time to play one full game of Outbreak, and I'm like, alright, I'll get some footage of Collateral since I only showed it on my channel when I streamed it during the launch of Season 5. So let me get some clean footage of the region, and I hopped on, didn't get Collateral at all for the first 6 warps that I did, and I'm like, alright, I'm guaranteed Collateral by at least round 7, right? We're getting high up there in rounds, but that's when we'll get it. And nope, round 7 comes around, I get a Sanatorium holdout, and I'm thinking, maybe there are certain objectives that aren't available for Collateral, so they just forced me to reset my map cycle and put me back on Sanatorium. That wasn't the case either. Round 8 comes around, and I got Galova, so unfortunately, it didn't want me to play Collateral today, but I think it was just really bad RNG. People out there on Twitter have pointed out that your map cycle does reset after the first 6 objectives. Maybe I just had bad luck today, but you'll be seeing some footage of Collateral in some of my future videos. But without a doubt, Season 5 of Cold War Zombies has been a blast. Now, I didn't get to showcase Collateral today, but I do get to show you guys the brand new tank, the grapple gun, Death Perception in action, the transport objective, and even the Tesla Storm field upgrade. I managed to upgrade both Death Perception and Tesla Storm after finishing this match of Outbreak, as you guys will see. And all of these features make Outbreak that much better. I mean, these are fantastic additions. Anyone who made a review of Outbreak back in February should really have waited until now, or should give Outbreak some respect and give it a final review after Season 6. The mode is not at all what it was when it dropped, and not only is there much more to do now in Outbreak, but it offers gameplay opportunities that round-based just can't, which is fine so that you have different reasons to play both variations of zombies. Outbreak, without a doubt, is the future of the mode, so hopefully you guys get warmed up to this by the end of Cold War's life cycle. Also, don't forget about the helicopters that can occasionally spawn in some of your regions, and I think on the lower rounds you can shoot it with almost one shot of a tank, but obviously in the higher rounds, make sure you have a Pack-a-Punch rocket launcher or a weapon that can shoot long range, and whenever you blow it up, it drops you a care package with very high rarity salvage. And it's not a new version of salvage or a new type of it, but it's just higher rarity, which means when you pick some of it up, it'll give you more salvage in your inventory for either light or heavy salvage that you can use for some of the crafting items here in game. And the grapple gun alone, of course, makes everything that much better. Playing Batman Arkham City or Blackout Heavy Metal Heroes in Outbreak is something that a lot of hardcore zombies fans wanted to see, so I'm glad that Treyarch listened to our feedback. But now when it comes to the brand new bundle that dropped earlier today for 2,400 COD points, it is zombies related, thankfully. It fits perfectly for this video. The Requiem Reconnaissance Ultra skin. We get the crystallized Dark Aether Weaver skin there, which looks absolutely beautiful here in the lobby, as I will show you guys. We then have 2 blueprints here, which kind of is a way to quote-unquote buy Dark Aether camo for 3 of the weapons here, a Krig, a Gallo, and an M60. And the blueprints are okay. They don't look amazing. They're animated, of course, but if you actually put Dark Aether camo on top of these blueprints, it kind of cancels it out a bit, but then at the same time, it only covers half of your weapon, so it's very awkward looking. Not a fan of the blueprints, just how I wasn't for the other Weaver bundle. We have a watch in here, a Dark Aether tank, which looks beautiful. You'll see it in action quite a bit here in the gameplay. And we then have the disarmed finishing move, the Dead Again Zombies track as a vehicle horn, and a mule kick looking emblem there. So a nice bundle for hardcore zombies fans. I would say the pack is expensive, but is only worth it because of the Weaver skin and of course the Dark Aether vehicle tank. But when you look at the blueprints themselves, I don't know what it is with the Weaver bundles right now. They just don't come with the best blueprints. But let me know in the comments if you guys picked this one up, and I'm sure we'll get some other spicy zombies themed bundles before the end of Season 6 Reloaded for Black Ops Cold War as well. We definitely have plenty more bundles on the way for this game, but I'm surprised they dropped this one as soon as this week, because usually they save the best bundles for later in a season or the Reloaded updates. Now, Treyarch also made it clear in today's patch notes that the Marshall DLC weapon is dropping tomorrow, which is a lot sooner than I expected, and I'll talk more about some upcoming and early updates in Black Ops Cold War in tomorrow's video. But they also went ahead and mentioned there is an unsolved Easter egg still to be found in Martyr Toten, and they wanted to make sure expectations are reasonable with this. It's nothing crazy that we have to find, but it is an Easter egg of sorts. Probably not a side Easter egg taking us to Kino or some other DLC weapon Easter egg, nothing that crazy, but I know when Season 5 first dropped, people did discover that the mimics can now surprise us in Martyr Toten, which weren't previously in the map when it came out in Season 4 Reloaded, so I'm not Not sure what the other little Easter egg could be, but I'm sure it'll be found in the next few days. I do like when Treyarch gives us little clues towards a new Easter egg, but doesn't give away what it is or gives us any massive hints. They'll just let us know there's something still has to be found over in that map. Let me know in the comments what your best bets are for the Unsolved Easter egg over in DLC 3. But Season 5 is being structured a lot differently than previous seasons of Cold War, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, but there's a lot of content on the roadmap that is already releasing within the first week. So either Season 5 Reloaded is going to have a bunch of massive surprises on it, or the mid-season update itself may be very minimal so that it doesn't take away attention from Vanguard's upcoming alpha and beta for multiplayer. You never know. But when it comes to DLC 4 for Cold War Zombies, this is where things get fairly interesting. So in the recent blog post when Season 5 released, they did mention that the next upgradable perk will have its own machine in Season 6, along with the addition of a perk machine for death perception as well. So that means we'll end up getting 2 new perk machines in the final Cold War Zombies round-based map. We did talk about this in a video about a week ago where they didn't want to call it the final round-based map coming out, they called it the next one, but that's probably referring to the fact that Treyarch will be leading zombies in Call of Duty Vanguard, so they really aren't going away and will have more round-based maps coming out. They just won't be for Cold War after Season 6. Hopefully that makes sense, but somebody out there did post an image of what the perk machine looks like for death perception. Somehow people have access to it. I can't show it on screen for obvious reasons, but maybe check the description down below if you guys want to see this. And the perk machine looks great, kind of a variation of the Widow's Wine machine from Black Ops 3. I'm looking forward to that, and I'm wondering what the final upgradable perk is going to be. Will it be Winter's Wail, another perk from Black Ops 4, or will it end up being the beloved Double Tap or PhD Flopper? Either one of those or both are scrapped, at least from our understanding right now behind the scenes, and I'm going to say that Double Tap isn't really needed, right? I think we're just fine in game, and maybe they can buff things eventually, but when it comes to PhD, they can make that a tier 6 upgrade for any of the other perks in game right now, like it originally was pre-release from Black Ops Cold War. So we can still see some of the fan favorite perks introduced as tier upgrades or something else, but it's kind of up in the air right now. But what I will say is, based on the fact that over in Collateral, which I can't show you in this video, but I showed you guys on stream last week, you can actually do any of the main quest steps for either Operation Inversia or Operation Excision while you're in the new region Collateral. So that kind of tells me that if they're going to do a main quest 3 for Outbreak, it would probably have to be after we get more combined arms maps dropped here in the mode itself. And we do know from various rumors in the community and people who have somehow posted gameplay already that both Armada and Crossroads are coming to Outbreak at some point in the future. Check the description down below if you want to see some proof about that. Can't show it on screen, of course. But once we get those 2 other combined arms maps added to Outbreak, maybe we can get Miami or Cartel as well, but that would be too much. You almost need a separate playlist at this point for Ural Mountains, Outbreak regions, and then combined arms ones. But they are differentiating the 2, right? If you can't do Ural Mountains Easter eggs in Collateral, that just makes sense story-wise, right? But is there even time for a main quest 3 in Outbreak before the end of this game's life cycle? Do they have time to go ahead and playtest another main quest for this before releasing their potential last round-based map? Now, considering that DLC 4 should be dropping in Season 6, and also considering the Battle Pass timer, which tells us there are 50 days left until the next season, then we have to take into consideration Vanguard's current launch window is rumored to be November the 5th. So anywhere from October the 6th, November the 5th should be when the final round-based map does release in this game. But that is about, what, less than a month in between Season 6 and Call of Duty Vanguard. So the final season will end up being no more than like 30-ish days, depending on if Vanguard's launch window gets changed. So we do have the current dates of October 6th, 13th, 20th, and 27th, which could be the launch dates of our final round-based map. Now, what was really exciting the other day was when the new intel dropped over in Cold War Zombies via round-based, Outbreak, Onslaught, and we didn't get too much that hints at where we're going in DLC 4, which I think is great since it keeps speculation and the theorizing as hot as ever before, right? This is probably one of the first Treyarch games where we just have no idea where we could be going in the final map of the DLC season, so I like that. It's a bit different. I'm still gonna say it's probably the Dark Aether if I had to take a guess, but if it's not, then hey, I'll take anything at this point. But when the new intel did release, it did give us more of a hint and essentially more confirmation of who the director actually is. Yes, it is Eddie, but Treyarch went ahead and pulled a bit of a plot twist on us to make people believe that it's Hudson, since I'm sure Treyarch is aware that after the ending cutscene of Modern Toten, people are speculating that the director looks like Hudson. But let me remind you that CIA dress code is exactly what Hudson has wore in Black Ops 1 and Black Ops Cold War. Anybody that works in the CIA has to dress like that, and people that work at Requiem also work for the CIA. And it's also worth mentioning that for them to build up this much hype and momentum about the identity of the director, just to have it be Hudson, that would be a massive disappointment for the Cold War Zombies community. Why hide that, considering Hudson is currently playing a larger role in the storyline going on for multiplayer in Warzone. He's about to be a playable operator as well in Season 5 Reloaded, or at some point soon, and considering that he's probably going to pop up in one of the outro or intro cinematic cutscenes coming out for the main storyline of this game, where does he really play a role in for zombies, right? Would he be in two places at once? Would he be doing multiple things? I don't think they want to give Hudson that much of a role for this game. Even though I know Weaver and Hudson were buddies, I still don't see that being very likely or making much sense, considering you have Eddie on deck, who is clearly being built up to in the right way, where Craig wants to build some suspense and make sure that Eddie's reveal makes sense for this game's storyline and hopefully sets up whatever they have planned in their next installment. But in some of the intel, we don't get to hear what the director sounds like since his voice is masked over with a voice modulator, but we do get to hear a very similar conversation that we heard in Black Ops 1 between Hudson and Mason. As Hudson was interrogating Mason, he asked him very specific questions, which the director also asked Samantha during her interrogation that we hear over in the intel. So it clearly mirrors the conversation in Black Ops 1 to kind of throw off the community and to make us think that it may end up being Hudson. But the questions that were asked of both Mason and Samantha seem to also be some type of CIA code, right? A formula or strategy of how they interrogate certain enemies or certain people that they want to get answers out of. Now, the biggest takeaway here is that Eddie actually seems to have more of a memory than Samantha does. When they both went through that portal at the end of Tag Their Toten, they may have came into a universe that was already established, but a rebooted universe where all of the previous shit and Aether 115 just didn't exist in. We'll talk more about that in a second, but Eddie actually knows, or I should say the director actually knows Samantha's birthday, which nobody else knows. Her birthday is November 5th, 1934. Who else could possibly know that unless they were Eddie, since she wasn't born in this rebooted universe? So how would anybody know when she was born if she wasn't supposed to be here in the first place? And then she went ahead and told the director, things are different now. And the director then responds with, and I quote, "Oh, I know that better than you." So again, who else would know how different things are from this universe to the previous one, right? Samantha may get some vague memories of the previous universe as maps go on, as more maps release, but I think the director here knows a lot more and remembers a lot more than she may. And I'm not sure why that's the case. It still has yet to be revealed. Now, the community has done a great job with really reversing the filter on this audio, and it gives us a different hint as to what the director may sound like. And again, it could be Nolan North, considering he just voiced Rick Toffen in COD Mobile again. But take a listen to this, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments.
You like him, don't you?
Not in the way you think. We just have history. Shared history. Shared trauma. You wouldn't understand.
I do understand. In fact, I was very forgiving about the whole thing. I mean, given Weaver's failures and lapses in security, I could easily have had him disappeared.
Don't test me.
Maybe I still should.
I'm warning you.
What on earth could you possibly do to me? You really are just a pathetic, sad, little, lost... Oh dear. I suppose we'll have to replace that glass now. But at least we're making progress.
Now, it's also being reported that there is intel that's going to be dropped in Cold War, or already has, that's hinting at a plot during the Second World War that we don't know much about, nor has it been explained that much. So that seems to be setting up some type of foundation for what the story will be like in Call of Duty Vanguard. If it's going to be a prequel to Black Ops Cold War Zombies, then it's going to probably have to use some type of characters or a plot point, something that's really interesting that keeps Dark Aether fans interested in this, because from my understanding, right, although Dark Aether's storyline is a spin-off from the old Aether story, it still hasn't gotten people on board yet with the execution of the story because of all the intel. And I understand that, right? I know that the roots of zombies has originated from radio, ciphers, and cryptic storytelling. Black Ops 3 and 4 spoiled us with cinematics, which Cold War doesn't offer all that much. So I get the community has changed its perception of how a story should be told. I'm just curious if Vanguard will tell the story the same way Cold War does, or take a bit of a different approach, where Treyarch maybe listens to our feedback about Cold War and changes the way they give us a story in Call of Duty Vanguard Zombies. Now, I'm also aware that most of the bundles in this game don't have much significance in terms of storyline. They're not really canon to anything. But maybe, and just maybe, the new crystallized Weaver skin is a hint that we may go into the Dark Aether in DLC 4 wearing certain suits, and maybe Samantha uses her powers to purify Dark Aether energy, or to purify some crystals to put in a suit, and then we use those suits to be able to survive in the Dark Aether, maybe be able to hop around like we are able to in DLC 3 of Extinction, which is called Awakening, where you kind of have an exo jump when you're down there because of the way gravity works. But last and definitely not least, I wanted to raise the point that I'm almost certain here, unless Outbreak goes free to play and that changes the way the mode works, then in Vanguard Zombies we will of course see some round-based maps, that's without a doubt, even if it's only 3 or 4. But if they end up doing Outbreak in Vanguard as well, it'll probably end up adopting on the things that make the current Outbreak better. They'll listen to the feedback for the current Outbreak and make sure they don't repeat the same mistakes in the future. But the regions they'll likely use in Vanguard's Outbreak will probably be from the Warzone integration for Vanguard, whatever map that ends up being, which is supposedly a third bigger than Verdansk. They'll without a doubt break that map into portions and then make that the Vanguard Outbreak experience. And it's unclear how it'll affect Treyarch in the future. If they're going to be working on zombies for every future Call of Duty game, regardless of which developer leads that project, then we'll end up getting round-based and Outbreak, no matter if the game's from Sledgehammer, Infinity Ward, or even Treyarch themselves at some point in the future. Let me know how you feel about that in the comments, though, because people out there are a bit concerned, saying that they want to see Sledgehammer or Infinity Ward tackle their own zombies mode. And sure, that's fine, but I think Activision knows better than anybody that unless Treyarch leads the zombies just might not hit that well for that game's life cycle. That's just the way it goes, and that's the way it has been. But that is about it. This has been dkdynamite. Leave all your thoughts down below in the comment section. I wanted to get this video out as soon as I could, since I know we're about to get really deep into Vanguard marketing. We have the reveal event in Verdansk this Thursday, which I'll be streaming, and probably some other news to cover about future DLC updates. Again, I have a video coming out tomorrow talking about both the mid-season update of Cold War and other surprise DLC that's dropping much sooner than expected. I really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everyone.
Some say seek and you will find. Just don't let this blow your mind. And when you need precision,